and ask. Okay, so here we go. Recording. All right, so this is the first lesson on how to generate a great idea for a small moment personal narrative story. That is a story told from the first person, so I, and told in a way that everybody can understand it and be interested in it. So how do we come up with a really great idea for a story? Sometimes it's almost the hardest part, isn't it? Well, I have some tricks to help you come up with a great story. The truth is that we remember only certain stories from our lives. You may have been to McDonald's 100 times, but for some reason you remember one time at McDonald's. And the truth is sometimes we don't know why we remember it, but I have a secret for you. The things we remember in our lives are things that matter to us. So they matter to us because they were hard, or because we learned something, or because they were wonderful, or because they were the first or the last time, or we felt pride. But the truth is, we don't remember things that don't matter to us. The times we remember do matter. And the hardest part of being a writer is kind of asking yourself, why does it matter? So a lot of times kids will write me a story that goes like this. I got up in this morning and I had breakfast, and then I went outside and I played with my friends. And after that, I went to the park and I jumped on my bike and I rode around the block. And after that, I ate lunch and I had a tuna fish sandwich. And then I went to the store and my mom bought me a Hot Wheels car. And then we went home and we had dinner. And then I watched a movie and then I went to bed. You know what I call that kind of a story? I call it a so what story, because I kind of want to ask you, why are you telling me all this? What does it matter, right? In fifth grade, we don't write so what stories. We write stories that matter, stories that persuade or convince or help somebody else work through a problem or show what we've learned. But that's not always so easy to figure out. But I will tell you this, if you remember a story in your life, it's because it did matter, and your job is to figure out why it mattered. So for today, I'm going to teach you a couple of ways to come up with stories, lots of story ideas. If you have an actual writer's notebook, I'd like you to go to the back of the writer's notebook. And I always put my ideas in the back of the writer's notebook. And on the back page, I just wrote all the stories I remember from my life, just anything I could brainstorm. So right now, I want you to take 1 minute. And if you're working online, I'd like you to title this document Story Ideas, okay? Title your document, if you're working online, Story Ideas. And if you are not working online and you're working in a notebook, in a writer's notebook, I'd like you to go to the back page and I'd like you to write down generating ideas. And on this page, I just want you to write down every single story you can remember as fast as you can, as fast as your fingers will write. Write down every single story you can remember. The day my dog died, the day I did my first stunt on a mountain bike, the day that I was fishing all by myself and it was boring, a rainy night on a trip, going on a trip to California, running a marathon, doing art with my mom, playing solitaire with my grandpa, writing at school and having a hard time coming up with an idea, having a fight with my friend, pushing my brother off the roof, my brother Mike and how mean he was to me, my pets when I first got them, the time I got bitten by a dog, the day I broke my arm, the day I broke something on my mom's and I lied about it and I got caught. The day I stole something at the store and my mom made me go back and give it back. Learning to roller skate, being scared in my bed at night, feeling ashamed because I tripped somebody at school on purpose and they got hurt. Making a new friend. Write down every idea you can come up with. Let's see how many you can do. Write as fast as you can. I'm going to pause the recording. I want you to keep writing for about, hopefully you wrote down a lot of ideas. I don't know if you can come back to this later. And so I want you to leave it. If your whole page isn't full, I'd like you to turn to the next page in the back of your notebook. If you're writing on a document, that shouldn't be a problem because it will make space, but like go down a couple of lines. And now I want you to title this part, People. And I want you to make what I call a T chart this is a T-chart. I'm going to make a new whiteboard and open it and show it to you. So a T-chart just basically is a straight line like this. Oh, that is a beautiful straight line, Ms. Laws. Oops. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. A straight line like this and another straight line like this. Okay, this is a T-chart. And on this side, you're going to write the word people. P-E-O. It's kind of a funny word, isn't it? It doesn't really look the way it sounds. I hope you enjoy my horrible writing with this. I've got to get my iPad going. And on this side, I want you to write one time when. Okay, so if you're doing one online, you can add a chart or a table with 2 boxes. One time when. Okay, people and one time when. And the way this chart works is you think of several people you know in your life. So I have my mom, I have my big brother, and leave a little space underneath them. Don't put them right next to each other. Leave a little bit of space. Big bro. I don't know what happens with the recording when I'm doing this. I have my friend Gretchen. I call her Gretch. I want you to be doing this right now too. Write down several people that you know in your life. Maybe you have a best friend. If you have a pet, you could write it here. Hector was my dog that I just loved. My grandpa, my teacher, my sister, my auntie. Write down all the people, but leave some space in between them. Okay. And then what I want you to think about, you can see the way mine is set up. So I have it started with Gretchen. And then one time when I have under there various times I can remember with Gretchen. Right now, we're not writing the whole story. Remember, we're just coming up with things we remember. So with my mom, I remember doing crafts with her. I remember a big fight. So over here, you want to put down times when you did things. There was a fight. She actually threw something at me. She wasn't trying to hurt me. She was just really angry. Yeah. I had a big
What did you do to do that?
I lied to her.
Oh,
Another time with my mom that I remember is cooking with her. So right now you're thinking of some times, one time when, and sometimes I'll talk over the top of your work and you're thinking, gosh, Ms. Laws, I wish you'd stop talking because I can't think. If you're that kind of a kid, you can always mute your screen for a minute when I'm brainstorming. Let's see, my big brother, Mike. Oh, I remember the TV story when we were fighting over what to watch on TV. I remember.
Wait, 3 stories about each people, each person?
Well, however many stories you can think of, but just try to think of some stories. I remember visiting him at school when he went to college. Visiting him at college. And you don't have to write very much here, just enough to remember the story. I remember when Mike, I can't think of anything else with Mike right now. Let's see with Gretchen. How about when we went camping and we forgot the tent poles? Ugh. Oh, and the bee stung us. Yeah, that was not good. When her cat had kittens. And when we had a fight. I evidently remember a lot of fights. We didn't actually fight, but like an argument. We didn't talk for a while. I remember, I also remember her wedding. Like if you run out of space, you could go over here and put some more stories. I remember her wedding. And you can just do abbreviations. I remember when her dad died. That was really sad. So writers, today and every day, when you're thinking of ways to come up with stories, brainstorming is a great strategy. And one of the things you can brainstorm is just anything you remember. But another thing you can brainstorm is people who are important in your life. Okay, when Hector was lost, when we took Hector on a trip and he barked the whole time. Oh, that was horrible. But I loved my doggy. And I remember when I ran away from home with my dog when I was a little girl. So he didn't run away, I did with him. I didn't run away for very long though, because I got hungry and I wanted dinner. I've never written that story. That one might be fun. Another thing you can
Why
do
did you run away?
when you're doing this, another thing you can do is if you come up with a story that you think might be a good one, putting a star by it, like, oh yeah, I really remember that story. I might want to write that, is a good idea. So another minute, try to brainstorm as many things as you can. If you have a question, I'm going to make it so that you can just send me a question in the chat. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. Right now you're writing for another minute to see how many more you can come up with, how many people, how many one-time wins. So everybody, I should see you typing or writing as fast as your little fingers can do it. So Mila, I can show you how to make a table later, but right now just brainstorm, okay? Grab a piece of paper. I will show you that though. Mohammed, I don't know why your screen is black and you can't see me right now, huh? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So here we go. So at this point, this should be kind of what you have as a person, and then next to it, some stories about one-time win. Now, we are going to go over here, and our next topic is, can you see it? Places. Somebody is not muted. Can I get you to mute? I think it's Mohammed. There we go. So I'm going to go to whiteboard again. And well, actually, let me just show it to you first. No, I can't because now it's mad at me. There we go. Okay, so on a new whiteboard, again, if you're in your notebook, you can just draw a line, make a T-chart. And this time, instead of people and one-time stories, you're going to think about places that are special to you. And what I mean by that is places where you've had a lot of experiences or special experiences. Like for me, my bedroom. I spent a lot of time in my bedroom. You guys have been having Zoom forever on your bedroom. So your bedroom might be a special place. Maybe most kids used to spend a lot of time in class, right? In the classroom or on the Zoom classroom even. That might be a special place. For me, I really like to go to the beach. The beach is a special place. So right now you're asking yourself, what are some special places for me? Maybe church is a special place for you. Maybe your grandma's is the special place for you, or your grandpa's or your cousins. Maybe your parents' store is a special place. Maybe your art class or your dance class. Somebody was telling me they're a dancer today. Maybe the dance studio is a special place. Maybe the park is a special place, or the swimming pool, right? Oh, that is beautiful writing, Ms. Laws. Ugh, not really. So just right now, brainstorm some places that matter to you. Spelling doesn't matter. Neatness doesn't matter. Right now, we're just brainstorming ideas, lots and lots and lots of ideas. So write down the places in your world that matter. And then try to ask yourself, what is something I remember one time? You know what I'm going to write, don't you? One time when something happened at that place. One time when. So let's see. One time in my bedroom. I remember one time when I wouldn't eat my peas and my whole family went to a movie and I was home alone in my bedroom. I was trying to make them suffer because I wouldn't eat my peas. So I was home alone. Maybe it was your home alone for the first time. You guys are about the age where you can stay home alone. And I was feeling really sorry for myself. Another time in my bedroom that was really fun was when I had a slumber party with my girlfriends. And we were just crazy, crazy, crazy all night. Slumber party. I'm just going to call it a slumber pee. What's another time in my bedroom? Oh, when I was in there and my doggy died. That was very sad.
What do you mean, like?
Well, my dog died and I went and cried in my room for a long time. He didn't actually die in my room. So you're writing down a place that matters to you and then the times you remember in that place. You can put a line between them if you want to. Let's see, in class. Oh, what was a really exciting time in class? Oh, when my class had a surprise party for me and I walked in and they were all hiding in there. That was kind of funny. Oh, and I remember one time one of my best students was talked into playing a little joke on me where she pretended to fight with somebody, like physically fight, was hitting them. And I was so shocked, I sent her to the principal's office and then she burst into tears and said they were just joking. It was just a joke. So the joke, that was kind of a funny time in class. I felt like such a mean teacher. The joke. Let's see, another time in class was, oh, when we had those fires and you couldn't even go outside and the whole sky was red and we had to stay in the room all day. Another time in class that was pretty funny was, or interesting or sad or happy. Well, I'm thinking, now I can't think of anything right now. I'll just leave a dot. I'll come back to that later. Let's see, at the beach. When I found a seagull, an injured seagull with a broken wing with my dad. Found the seagull. What else do I remember? Remember all, you don't have to worry about it being a good story because if you remember it, there's something important about it. So just write down any time you remember. I remember when I went to the beach with my cousins. Oh, I remember when I took my class to the beach on a field trip to the aquarium. It was a really long car drive, way too long, and somebody got car sick. And that was gross. Aquarium. But the aquarium was cool. I remember the beach when I got to pet a whale.
Miss Kingsfire, I'm Miss Laws. I have to go.
Okay, bye, sweetie. You can go on and watch this later or we'll submit this lesson.
Okay.
Petted a whale. Did I start it again? I did, yeah. Okay, let's see, at my grandma's house. I remember eating candy in her candy dish. My parents didn't let us have candy, but she always had candy. I remember my grandma's. I remember her killing slugs. Oh, that's a good story. I do really want to write that one. She used to carry salt with her and a stick. And if she found a slug, because she didn't like them in her garden, she'd put salt on it and then stab it with a stick and fling it in the woods. It wasn't very nice, but I just remember that about my little grandma.
That's cruel.
Not very nice to the slugs, was it? What else do I remember? I see people just sitting there not writing. You should be writing, writing, writing. I know your hand should be getting tired from all this writing. I want to see some sore hands. Yeah, good job, Sophia. Shake that hand. Let's see, my grandma Hibbard, I remember she paid me to crack hazelnuts. She paid me to crack nuts. That's my other grandma. Isn't it funny? Once you start remembering, it's so easy to remember more and more. The more you remember, the more you remember. Crack nuts. And this part is real easy because you don't have to find a good story. You're just coming up with any stories of a place that was important to you and a time you remember in that place. So if you ever get stuck, people and places. And the third one I was going to teach you, but we're not going to spend the time doing it in class right now because you've been on here far too long without moving around. And I'm going to close this whiteboard, but the very last one that I'd love you to do when you're done with this lesson is go in and start one more chart. Just go to the next page in your book and start one that is things that are important to you. Like in here, I have my secret box and the time I got it from my grandpa. my mirror at the beach that I saw myself in when I was a young child, when I was grown up, and now when I'm old, gray-haired old lady. And my special football that I got from my uncle, who I loved. So, writers, today and every day, coming up with great story ideas is not that hard because your brain is full of them. All you have to do, your job, is to do a little remembering and write them down. So when you get off of this recording today, I'd like you to take another 5 minutes and brainstorm all the stories you can remember. Ask yourself, what people matter to me, what places matter to me, and what things matter to me. And what are the times, one time that I remember with those objects? And on Wednesday, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do with those ideas. But for now, that's all you have to do is come up with ideas. So when you come to class on Wednesday, I want you to have at least, 20 ideas of stories that you could choose from. All right, I asked some people to stay on with me afterwards.